Hey, 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 Shutter Squad. Welcome back to the One Behind the Lens. Today we're doing something a little different. A bonus episode just for my fellow photographers who are deep in the thick of busy season. You know who you are. Your camera batteries are constantly charging, your editing queues are stacked a mile high, and your idea of a hot meal is whatever snack you find in your car between sessions. But here's the thing. Even in the chaos, your marketing still matters. Future bookings depend on the seeds you plant now. So, in this episode, we're diving into how to keep showing up and marketing your business, even when you're buried in shoots. Grab your coffee, or maybe something a little stronger, I won't tell, and let's talk about how to keep your name out there without losing your mind.
Welcome to the One Behind the Lens, the show for photographers building bold, beautiful businesses behind the lens. I'm Kate Biz Bestie and I got one thing to say before we begin.
Your clients aren't just watching when you have time to post pretty photos. They're watching how consistent you are through it all. So, showing up doesn't mean huge marketing campaigns. It just means letting people see the real life version of your business, the energy, the chaos, the behind the scenes moments. Even if it's just a story saying, editing day, send caffeine, you're reminding your audience you're active and in demand. And that builds trust. So here's some simple, doable ways to keep your marketing alive. Number one, batch and repurpose. You're already creating so much content. Turn sneak peeks, behind the scenes shots, or even a funny text exchange with a client into a quick post. Number two, automate what you can. Schedule 2 to 3 things a week using Meta's free scheduler. There's also Later. I actually use Hootsuite, and I had never used that before, actually, until I started this podcast. So I am new to that starting in this past August, and I am loving it. So look into some of those things. If you are just wanting something free, that way you can be out shooting while your posts are working for you. Number three, email even if it's tiny. A short, "Hey, I've been busy photographing the best families this fall" email keeps your list warm and reminds people you're booking fast. Number four, show the messy middle. Now, I know I talk about the messy middle probably in every single episode, but people love seeing your real world. Share your editing chaos. Show the car full of gear or the moment you trip over a camera bag. I mean, I guess hopefully you're not filming that, but you can talk about it because we've all done it. Just yesterday, I was doing a shoot and I had an oh shit moment just for a split second where I was shooting at our local hospital and we were doing something with a doctor and a baby, and the baby was just absolutely perfect. And I was trying to get the shots in before, she was over it. And all of a sudden, my card was full and I'm seeing flash. And I'm like, A, did I bring other cards? Because this weekend and this week had been a little nutty with photo shoots. B, where is my bag? Everything worked out. I had my bag not that far from where we were, and there were cards. But that's just something I could throw on my stories, just a quick little story. So again, it doesn't have to be like a novel. You just need to stay visible. The audience doesn't know what you didn't post. They only see what's there and that you're showing up and staying consistent. Even a one-line caption like golden hour magic keeps you in the feed and in your client's mind. Time out, friends. Let's talk about what's in my cup every single morning. Coffee Roaster of Lincoln, Nebraska. Freshly roasted, full of flavor, and honestly, it's the real MVP of my morning routine. They ship anywhere in the US, no matter where you live. Nebraska's best can be in your mug too. Use code TOBTL for 5% off your online order. That's TOBTL. Or just hit that link in the show notes and thank me later. Support small, sip strong, stay caffeinated. Welcome to the Photo Confession Booth. All right, guys, so here is my story for the Photo Confession Booth. This just happened. And really, I kind of gave you two because that one story with at the hospital, that was literally like, if you were in my head or in my body, you would have known that that was a little bit of a oh crap moment, but it worked out. There was nothing, clients, nobody knew. They just knew my card was full and I had to get a new one. So there's a little one there. And then I just wanted to tell you one that happened when I was shooting a wedding. Now, this wedding I have talked about in past episodes. This was my little cousin's wedding. And thank goodness I had my friend Amber, who is an amazing photographer. And again, we click because we're friends, and we really clicked over photography and then just became friends, which is always fun to have happen. But I trust her like wholeheartedly, and which was great because I knew I would be emotional during this day, the lot going on, a lot of family things happening and stuff, but I couldn't stop crying throughout like the whole day. Like I literally cried on the way to the church thinking about the wedding and thinking about, okay, don't cry. And then I was crying as I was like trying to tell myself in the car prior not to cry. I cried when the father of the bride saw the bride. Cried when the mother and the bride, Molly, were taking photos. I cried when Molly was going to see Sam or Sam was going to see Molly for the first time. I, of course, cried during the ceremony. There was just so many times. I didn't really cry though during the reception. Now that I think about it, no crying. It was a lot of, I think that was when I was just like, thank goodness. Molly had a great way that she did the reception. And when I say Molly, you know that the bride is the one that's really, doing all of the work and figuring everything out. But if you are a wedding photographer out there, this is something I would tell your client. She had a great intro to her reception, or into their reception, I should say. So their wedding was done. I would say it ended, I think, well, I know that we were at a location that was literally around the corner from the reception about 6:15, and the reception was supposed to start at 6:30 with dinner at 7. And I think we were like just done. We did some photos by a sign that was not that far, and we didn't take too much time, about 15-20 minutes. And so they were at the reception pretty much when it said it was going to be started. But the wedding party came in, was announced, then Sam and Molly were announced, and then right away Molly and Sam did their first dance, and then they followed that with the father-daughter, and then the groom with his mother. And they did those great moments. And they also did the cake. Forgot to say that. did the cutting of the cake after that. So it's all these moments that a lot of people who come want to see all of that, but I feel like receptions can just drag on. And I don't think the wedding couple is thinking about their audience really. And you have to kind of think of that. Might be some people that might be a little bit older and they would love to see all of these fun moments. But once they have eaten and then they might hang out for maybe another half an hour or so to chat and, all of that, but then they're going to be ready to go home. So I would just suggest that, like, get those big dances, those big moments done. And then what they did is then they had the dinner and then they did do like their speeches and things like that. Were after dinner, but pretty soon after dinner it just made the reception flow nicely. And I would just I would recommend that. So that was a very long confession about crying and then gave you a little pointer if you're a wedding photographer or if you are a family member that has, a wedding coming up. Give them little tip. Before we wrap this episode up, if you are craving a real creative boost this season, I have to tell you about something happening in November. This is a live, high energy experience where you're going to learn how to finally create content that grows, engages, and converts. Think of it as your own headliner show. You're going to leave with your own set list, aka your step by step content plan. This is going to happen November 13th on Zoom. The price is $69 and the link to register is in the show notes. Do not miss it. All right, Shutter Squad, that's your bonus pep talk for this week. Remember, busy season doesn't mean silent season. Keep showing up, even in the smallest ways, and your future self and your calendar will thank you. And if you want to make client prep easier, don't forget to grab my Pose Like a Pro guide. Photographers can customize it and include it in their client prep materials. You can grab it on my website with 10% off using code POSE. That's POSE. And yep, that link's also in the show notes. Got a funny or cringeworthy photo confession of your own? Send it my way. Email me, DM me on socials, or send me a voice memo. I just might share it on an upcoming episode. Thanks for tuning in, my friends. Now, go capture that magic. Stay hydrated. You are doing amazing. And don't forget, shutter up and shine, friends.